Arsenal have gone ahead to express how serious they are on Moses Caicedo by making a second bid of £70 million. But unlucky enough, it has been rejected. We are going to really unfold to you how the situation has been going and how Arsenal really reached the level of making a second bid in here onto the Rokani Media Football. Rokani David is my name. Smash the like button, comment and share. And we are talking about Chelsea backing out of this deal of Caicedo, and they are in for another player, and they are really serious to get the player, meaning that Arsenal is left solely into this race of Moise Caicedo, meaning that a bidding war that Brighton was anticipating to that really gate in a lot of money has been really blown out of the window. Now, it's only Arsenal in for Caicedo, and obviously we'll conclude this story by talking about the Arsenal former player known as Hector Bellerin and how Arsenal is set to earn close to 30% on his fee that Barcelona is going to get by selling him or loaning him to Sporting Lisbon. So don't forget to subscribe. Lower right bottom corner, that's the place to be. Smash the black button that has the word subscribe. Smashing it, hit the notification bell that will enable you get notified every time we upload a video onto this channel. Now, today has been always chilly like that. Sometimes power really left. That's why I really never came in to really add more stories. I've came in late, but obviously I've managed to do 4 stories, not so. So I think tomorrow we'll do 5 or 6 because it's really going to be a lot of news circulating all over the social media, because as we really enter the last 2 days of the transfer window, we are really going to be having lots of news. Many players are really going to be crossing from one team to another, and a lot of movement is expected towards the 31st of January. That's going to mark the end of the transfer window. Now, today, the first journalist that came in through and really hinted about Arsenal making a bid of £70 million to Brighton was Lorenzo Laporte. He told us that Arsenal are considering making a £70 million bid, that is £65 million of guaranteed fees and £5 million of add-ons offer for Moise Caicedo. He was the first journalist that hinted about it, meaning that he had been told that Arsenal are really cooking something to come in through. Remember, Fabrizio had told us earlier that no second bid has been made, though reports from Ecuador were reporting that a second bid had been submitted by Arsenal. Then, Mail Sport came in through and told us the following about the bid, that Arsenal are considering another offer of Caicedo worth up to £70 million in the coming days. Arsenal are keen to add another midfielder this month, but it's understood they will consider walking away from a deal for Caicedo should another bid fail. Now, when you hear about the bid that was being prepared, it was around £70 million, meaning that these were credible sources feeding into a team called Brighton and the journalists letting out these stories, because it looked like there is nothing that was going to happen that was beyond £70 million. And the Mail Sport hinted that Arsenal are hinting or thinking of walking away if at all this £70 million bid was going to be rejected. After the Mail Sport, we had a tweet coming in from Fabrizio Romano that Arsenal are discussing internally a new proposal worth £70 million, add-ons included, for Brighton midfielder Moise Caicedo. As noted last night, Arsenal did not submit a second bid to Brighton on Saturday. So that is Fabrizio Romano, and these are the first 3 people that came in through and really said Arsenal are going to submit a bid of £70 million. And now, when they really put us in the know, we've been eagerly waiting. I've not gone, I never even had to go to bed because I knew that this was coming in through, because after discussing it internally, then they had to submit it tonight, because Monday is really going to be another day. If at all they feel like it's going to be rejected, then they'll be having 2 days to think of who is going to be a replacement or an alternative for Moise Caicedo. And guess what? 30 minutes or an hour back, Fabrizio Romano has broken the story that exclusive Arsenal submitted new bid for Moise Caicedo. Understand it's worth £70 million package, including add-ons. Brighton don't want to sell the player. Stains clear after 60 million opening bid rejected, but Arsenal try again as Caicedo wants the move. Now, everything that is really propelling this deal to go further is the player known as Moise Caicedo. He's under strike. He said he's not going to play a game of football for Brighton again until the end of the transfer window. And today, when they're beating Liverpool by 2-1, Caicedo was not part of the match squad. What the Brighton team did, all administration did, all board, they told him, don't even come to train with us. Don't even come to train with us, because you'll come out and really disorganize our dressing room and our team. So they've gotten a win today. I think they're happy, but a bid has been put in, but a stance has been really put up by a side known as Brighton. So Brighton is a hard team to deal with, by the way, because I saw Chelsea struggle and sweat. You get? They broke a lot of sweats to sign Cucurella. Again, Cucurella to join Chelsea, he had to strike at Brighton. That's it. He stopped training, handed in a transfer request, not until they sold him close to £65 million. That's it, to Chelsea. And now this time, they want to do the same thing to Arsenal. They want Arsenal to cough more money, according to me, because I believe they've brought in a replacement. Is it Ayari? They've already brought in a replacement for this man known as Moise Caicedo at a side known as Brighton. So that was the first story, that a bid had been put in by Arsenal of £70 million. And obviously, the man that really led the story of this bid being put in for the very first time and rejected, Fabrizio Romano, broke the story, meaning that he's getting the story from the source. So let's get into what we've been told by Sami Mokbol. He's a chief writer for the Daily Mail. Arsenal submit second offer for Moise Caicedo, told it's £65 million plus £5 million of add-ons. Original offer was £60 million. Now, that means they've added 10 more to convince Brighton to really give them Moise Caicedo, but it looks like the stance has not been broken. Then, I think after Fabrizio tweeting that a bid has been put in of £70 million, I think like 15-16 minutes later, he went ahead to let us know about a bid being rejected. That Arsenal's second bid for Moise Caicedo, worth £70 million fee with add-ons included, has been immediately rejected by Brighton tonight. Should Arsenal make a new proposal in the next 48 hours, it should be a potential record fee for the club. Now, Arsenal have done its best. That's it. Because at £70 million, Caicedo looks like he wants to go, but the club looks like that's still little, getting more. So this is where I go back to the report coming in from Ecuador that it's going to be £80 million. That's what Brighton want. I believe Brighton know they're going to sell this player, and the boost is that they've played a game of Liverpool and they beat Liverpool by 2-1. They proceeded to the next round of the FA Cup without Moise Caicedo. That's it. That confirms the team can go ahead and really win games of football without Caicedo. Even after the World Cup, I think Caicedo missed out on 2 games. You get? Because Caicedo had a yellow card, they never had McAllister, but they went ahead to play and win. I think it was only that game of Arsenal where they got beaten by 4-2. But looks like De Zerbi is keeping his squad tight, and he doesn't want to keep a player who really doesn't want to be at the club. Now, after that being put out by Fabrizio Romano, it really informs you that maybe there is a given amount of money that Arsenal is supposed to put on the table between £80 million and £100 million. That's what will move Brighton, because Brighton looks like they are saying, we know you want the player, but however much you want the player, we won't give you the player. That's it, because we know that you are really going to go all out for him. Now, as that bid is really still being discussed about, before that second bid came in through, De Zerbi was asked after he beat Liverpool by 2-1 what he thinks about Moise Caicedo. He said, I would like that he can finish the season. I would like that he can finish the season with us, but we are ready to go but we are ready to go forward without him. I can understand him, because when you are 21 and you receive a request of a big team that are playing in Europe, I can understand. So when you look at Caicedo, I think his argument is valid. You can't keep him for many seasons. Arsenal's come on, knocked on the door. He wants to take him, and Brighton looks like they are playing it hard. But the manager has really hinted that they really feel they wanted to keep him, but they are ready to go without him. It shows you that they're 100% ready to play games of football without Caicedo. And he understands that he's 21, and if I don't receive a request from a big club, obviously you have to go. So Brighton making it hard is really something that shouldn't really come out and really threaten Arsenal fans all over the world, because I believe a negotiation is going to be reached at, unless otherwise Arsenal pulls out. But if at all Arsenal doesn't pull out of the deal, I believe a common consensus is going to be reached between Arsenal and Brighton. But the manager is ready to go ahead without the player known as Caicedo, and he has gone ahead to really late everything to the president known as, is it Blomy or Glomy? Blom is the president of Brighton, and everything is left in his hands to decide. But I know the board of Brighton is really excited. They know they're going to get money and milk it out from a team known as Arsenal. Though they've been hit by a blow, I mean Brighton, and this is a positive to Arsenal, because Brighton knew that Arsenal was going to battle it out with Chelsea for this player. That calls for a bidding war between Arsenal and Chelsea, but that has not been the deal. Remember, the first team to bid for Caicedo was Chelsea. They made a verbal bid of £55 million. It was rejected by Brighton. Arsenal came in through with 60. Now they've gone in with 70, and obviously they've really been rejected again. But Chelsea have said, we are not ready to battle it for Moise Caicedo with Arsenal, because we did that thing against Mukalo Modric. We ended up paying a lot of money that we thought was out of our reach. But what they've done is they've gone ahead to Benfica and contacted about Enzo Fernandes, this time with a very serious offer meeting the amount of money that Rui Costa requested them to pay. Now, we are told by Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea are back in direct talks with Benfica for Enzo Fernandes. They want the player at all costs. Chelsea would be prepared to pay 120 million pounds. Sorry, 120 million euros. That is 105 million pounds. Benfica president Rui Costa has still no intention to accept, but Chelsea will insist to get the deal done now. You know, me as a United fan, when I hear teams like Arsenal and Chelsea to the market like this, I even get goosebumps, because it shows you how unserious we are. Look at how Chelsea is. Look at how Arsenal is. Chelsea is willing to spend £200 million in this January transfer window. Arsenal is willing to spend close to £100 million in this transfer window. If at all they get Caicedo at close to £80 million, they would have spent close to £120 million, equaling the amount of money they spent in the summer. So that shows you how seriously these clubs are. But United is telling their manager, we don't have money. So, Chelsea getting in Enzo Fernandes is the first step I think they would have done before getting in Modric, because I believe all what that is missing in the jigsaw of Chelsea, or Graham Potter at Chelsea, is Enzo Fernandes. They need a midfielder badly, because I think the only one that has really come close is Zakaria, but he also got an injury. But the likes of Jorginho look like they've worn out. N'Golo Kante is back, but you expect him to really get injured again, because he's an injury-prone player. I don't believe he can go in a stretch of 10 games to play for a side known as Chelsea. So, Kovacic, Gallagher, they are good as box-to-box midfielders, playing in a double pivot with a CDM. But without a CDM, they don't look good. So Chelsea's problem is a CDM, and I think them spending 120 million euros is a right expenditure for them on a player known as Enzo Fernandes. First and foremost, proven at the world stage. Enzo Fernandes is 21 years of age, meaning that you are signing a player that is going to be in your midfield for the next 6, 7, 8, 10 years at the club of Chelsea. So they are insisting to get the deal done, but President Rui Costa feels like he has no intention to accept the amount of money, because he also believes that when he sells Enzo Fernandes, they are really going to be week in the Champions League. But all I know is that they've already signed a player that is going to be replacing Enzo Fernandes, meaning that they are going to take the 120 million euros. But I believe the format of payment is the one that is really going to delay this deal. I believe he might want close to 100 million euros up front and 20 million euros of add-ons. Chelsea looks like they want to get in 80 and the 40 will come in later. And I believe this is something that really stopped this deal from coming in through last time. I don't know why they keep flabbergasting themselves and not doing exactly what Rui Costa needs, because Rui Costa is not in any hurry to sell because he made some good money by selling a player known as this Liverpool guy. He put a shirt number 9 that scores goals. The Uruguayan player, Darwin Núñez, close to 88 million euros. So I think he's having money, and he sold some other players. I think the right transfer window. So he doesn't look like he's nowhere near accepting money that is not into his right payment structure. So Chelsea should work on the structure of paying a man known as Rui Costa to see to it that they really get him the player that he wants. And lastly, let's talk a little bit of a player known as Hector Bellerin. Now, you know, when you look at a player leaving a team on a free, you might think that that's all done and dusted, but that's not all it. Arsenal had put there a clause that is going to get them money back if at all this player is sold by Barcelona. Now, we've been told by David Austin, this is an exclusive, that Sporting Lisbon close to agreeing a deal to sign Hector Bellerin on loan from Barcelona. If it gets done, the 27-year-old's arrival could give Sporting Lisbon replacement for right winger back Pedro Porro, who Spurs hope to sign today. So he's going to Sporting Lisbon. Sporting Lisbon are really signing Pedro Porro. Sorry, are letting Pedro Porro go to Spurs, and obviously they want a player to come in through to replace the player. But if this deal comes to happening and there is a buyout clause in the summer, Arsenal is going to get itself 30% of the amount of money Barcelona is going to get. So that is something great for Arsenal, and you see how they're doing business, that they are continuing to increase and getting in more money coming in from their players. So thank you very much for watching in, guys. What are your thoughts about Moise Caicedo second £70 million bid being rejected by a side called Brighton? Do you think Arsenal are going to get back, or they are really going to look for another CDM in the levels of Moise Caicedo? Your thoughts in the comment section below. Your thoughts about Chelsea leaving Arsenal to battle for Caicedo and them to battle for Enzo Fernandes. Do you think Enzo Fernandes is going to sign for Chelsea by the end of the January transfer window? I'm welcoming your thoughts on that. And lastly, the Hector Bellerin deal from Barcelona to a side called Sporting Lisbon. I welcome to you in the comment section below. So guys, good night, guys. See you tomorrow morning, depending on where you are, because where I am it's already morning. But in the morning I'm going to return with more news as far as these transfers are really concerned. But remember, Chelsea have today signed Malo Gusto, but he's going to spend the remainder of the season on loan at Lyon and rejoin them in the summer. May the Almighty God bless you abundantly. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. I'm out. Good night.